Hi there, Kira here with a scrapbook layout process video, and today I am using the Felicity Jane July kit, which is the Kate kit. It's my first time buying anything from Felicity Jane, and I just absolutely love the kit. Everything is just such good quality. The paper is really thick, it's so smooth. The patterns and the colors are just absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't really resist buying it, so I decided to treat myself and buy a Felicity Jane kit, because typically they're a little too expensive for my taste. If I could scrap with Felicity Jane all the time, I would, but my wallet cannot afford it. So I started with a really light pink paper that's got like these little white polka dots on it, and I knew I wanted to do a cut file and stitch around it. So I wanted a color that would go on the paper and not clash too much. Like I didn't want something too bright. I didn't want another pattern paper. I wanted a plain paper, but I didn't want it to just be white. I wanted a different color. So this really light gray I thought was really pretty. And so I cut out one of the Felicity Jane cut files, which I'll link below in case you're interested. It says "Love You More," and I cut that on my Cricut. But you could see that my Cricut kind of butchered it because I really need new blades. So I just kind of went around it afterwards, my scissors, and just kind of cut out the spots that it kind of messed up. And once I stitched around it, you couldn't notice any of the spots that it kind of butchered it, so whatever. And then I decided to do kind of like this little photo strip looking technique with my photos. So I printed out a bunch of photos of me and my husband, and they're just selfies that we take at like the park, while the kids are playing. I make him take a lot more selfies lately since I've been scrapbooking more. And I always scrapbook about my kids, and I never scrapbook about him. So I'm like, the only way I'm going to scrapbook about you is if me and you take some selfies together. So we take a lot of selfies. So I just printed a bunch out, and they're from 2 different days, but I just didn't really think it mattered that much. And I just layered them up on some white cardstock and then cut around them so they look like photo strips. And the pictures measure 2 by 3, in case you're wondering. I just print 4 of them on a 4 by 6 piece of, picture printer paper. And cut them out, which I don't make you watch. And then let's see, what do I do next? And then I know what kind of the idea of how I want my pictures to look. So I've got those on that side, and then my cut file on this side. Where's the seahorse hurt? On his butt? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he's hurt on his butt. He needs a Band-Aid. Here we go, fish. All better. So I know that this is kind of how I want my layout to look. I know I've got the photo strips on one side, and then I want this Love You More cut file on the other side. So I go ahead and glue this down. I'm just using my Tombow glue to glue that down. And I want to make sure that I get all the little pieces adhered down, because if you've ever stitched over a cut file like this, your thread can get kind of like tangled up or caught on any of the little tails of the letters and stuff. So I just want to make sure that I have everything glued down just like that. It's also best to wait to poke your holes until your paper has dried, but you guys know I have no patience for glue drying, so I started poking my holes. I use an awl. It's just like a tailor's awl that you can, you can find in the sewing section of Joann's, or you can find them online. And then the mat that I'm using is a We Are Memory Keepers mat for their that sewing thing that they have, the Sew Happy, I think is what it's called. But it's just a piercing mat, so you can punch holes in your paper. I use half of the amount of thread, so there's 6 strings that come on the thread, and I just use 3, and then I just do a simple back stitch to stitch on my layouts. If you're interested in sewing on your layouts, I definitely recommend that you watch some tutorials on how to do just a simple back stitch, because that's definitely the easiest, but there's all sorts of stitches that you can do. I did embroidery before I scrapbooked, so I kind of know the basic stitches, and I think it's pretty easy to stitch on layouts, but I know a lot of people are kind of intimidated by it, so I think everybody should try it once though. So my stitching is done. I decided to use like this kind of coral pink color, and I debated back and forth about what color I wanted to use because I thought maybe white would work, but I didn't think that I had enough white to do this whole title. So I was like, well, maybe I'll do some pink. And so I was going to do like a light pink color, but I didn't have any that was like the color that matched the pink of my background. But I had this kind of light coral pink, and there are that color is in this collection, and I bring it into more of the layout. You'll see that I bring in that color a little bit more. So it's actually kind of the perfect complementary color for that title, and I was really happy with how it came out. So now I'm going to start embellishing this little pack that I dumped into this bowl. This is the ephemera pack that comes in the kit. I tried to use some of the little tags, but none of them really kind of worked with how I wanted to use them. So I use one of these little floral die cuts, which is really pretty. And again, it's got like the light pink color and also kind of that corally color that I use to stitch with. And then they have these little tags and tickets and things, and so I thought I would use one of the tags on there. I think that first one said like this is real life or something like that, but I ended up using this tag, which is like, it's like a dark gray. It's not really black, but it's like a dark gray color. And I apologize for the lighting because the sun was like going down at this time. So I have like this little string of light along the bottom, but you'll be able to see all the details in the close-ups at the end. But that little ticket says about my day. And I thought that was just kind of cute. For the upper right little cluster, there's like a little plaid strip that I use to layer underneath, and another one of those florals. I wanted to do something up on this left corner, just do another little cluster. And I was flipping through the journaling cards that come in this collection, and there's a journaling card with like a black and white polka dot bow on it, and I was like, you know, that would be really cute to have a little bow up on this corner. So I went ahead and just made that really quick, and I will be doing a tutorial on those bows hopefully soon. So I just added a little bow to the top. Then I pulled out these tiny word stickers. The one I'm putting there says happy, so then it kind of reads happy about my day. The second one says us. I just go ahead and stick that like down my husband's shirt there. And then the next one I pick says everyday things, and I do end up sticking it down, but I wait until after I'd adhered the rest of the ephemera down before I stick that on top of it. So I know that I want it up in that cluster. I just don't know, or I'm just gonna wait until I adhere everything down first. Then I went ahead and pulled out these epoxy hearts, which are so stinking cute, you guys. I want these in like every single color because I love them. But like the plaid and the stripes, oh my gosh, they're so cute. So I used a little black and white striped one down in the bottom corner to kind of mimic that bow that I've got at the top corner. I use a light pink one at the top left, and then a black one on the top right. And so I go ahead and adhere everything down because I'm happy with how that looks so far. And I wanted to make sure that like when I was building these clusters, I kind of had a little bit of each color that I wanted to use in this layout in each of the clusters. So I had a little bit of light pink, a little bit of the coral color, a little bit of black, and a little bit of gray. But that top left hand corner, you'll notice that it doesn't have any gray. It's just kind of pink and black heavy. So what I end up doing, when I do bump some of the stuff, I'll pop up on foam, and some of it I leave just adhered to the page. But I end up adding on the bottom of like the plain cardstock for Felicity Jane, there's always like a little scalloped border, and I just cut the gray scalloped border off of the paper and put a little bit of that at the top left hand corner to bring some of that gray in. But you won't see that to the end, I don't think. And there is a stamp set that comes in every Felicity Jane kit, and this is kind of what sold me on the kit this month. The stamp set is so stinking cute. It's kind of plannery, but I think it can be very like project life. But I love the little tiny numbers on it. That's kind of why I wanted it, because I don't have any tiny numbers, and you guys know I struggle with my project life every week, like not finding tiny numbers to stamp on my, week 27 or whatever. So I really liked that. But it also has these little, like 3 little plus signs. So I just went around the layout in the 3 clusters and just did some little black plus signs in those areas. Kind of like you would splatters, I guess. And I think that added a really cute touch. So I'm just going to cut off the branding strip down at the bottom, and then I'm going to look at that top cluster that I was talking about and decide it needs a little bit of gray up there, and that's when I will fussy cut the scalloped border, and then I'll stick that in that upper left hand corner. And I think that will pretty much finish off my layout. I'll link everything below, so links to the Felicity Jane website, to the cut file if you're interested in using that. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. And I will see you guys soon for another scrapbook layout process video. Have a good day. Bye.